doing for this week's meal prep is my breakfast. I needed breakfast this morning when I woke up and I didn't have it, so I just decided to whip it up. So we had a bag of the Martha White blueberry muffin mix. It only makes 6 muffins, but given it is midweek already, 6 muffins will get me the rest of the week, even if somebody else has 1 or 2. So, and I love using shortcut stuff like this. I could make homemade blueberry muffins, but it doesn't hurt to have shortcut stuff and use it. 2 ingredients. That's all it is. It's just that mix and some milk. So that's what I did. I mixed that up. I put it in the pan and I baked it for 15 minutes. And there I had it. I had my breakfast. So that is my breakfast meal prep for this week. My channel. So today's video is going to be a meal prep. I'm doing this one a little bit different. I'm not going to do like a big massive lunch or a big massive dinner because it is Wednesday when I'm doing this meal prep. Typically I meal prep Mondays or Tuesdays, and I also have quite a bit of food that can feed me for lunch and dinner. I will share a lunch idea that's left over from last week's meal prep, and no, I do not meal prep every week, and no, I do not film every week when I do meal prep. So yeah, but it is later when I'm starting this intro, or later when I'm doing this intro. So I already shared my breakfast meal prep for this week. This week was just quick, easy blueberry muffins. I had a bag in my pantry, so I just whipped that up. I'm going to do more of like a snacky meal prep because right now all I really need is some snacks, and I want to make elderberry syrup, and I'm going to include that in there in this video as well. Okay, so I'm starting with the elderberry syrup. I have 4 cups of water. I'm going to bring that to a boil. Then I'm going to add this bag. I got the elderberry syrup kit from the Elderberry company. I will link them down below. I also got honey from that company as well, because the place where I typically get raw honey that's local around here has not had it in like the past month, so I don't know what's going on. And then I'm going to get started on a couple of snacks. Okay, so my water is boiling, so I'm going to add in my bag of like elderberries, and then I'm going to reduce this to a simmer, so probably like 3 or so, like and I'm going to cover it, and that's going to take 15 minutes, and I am going to set a timer for that so I do remember. Okay, so while I'm working on this week's meal prep, I decided I would share with you a lunch idea using something we did in last week's meal prep. You'll see this recipe in a dinner video coming up in a couple of weeks, but the leftovers were part of the meal prep, well, for me anyway. Because that's usually what I try to do. I either try to meal prep with leftovers, or I try to make enough to where we can have dinner and then have leftovers. So yeah, pulled pork. I just added a little bit of taco seasoning and some water, and I'm going to cook this for a little bit until it gets like thick and looks like an actual... I'll show you when it gets to that point. But I also chopped up some onion. I'm going to chop up some bell pepper and add that in there. And then I'm going to heat up this leftover Velveeta and I'm going to make nachos with it, and that's going to be my lunch. But that is really simple because I can meal prep a lot of this and just heat it up in the microwave and put it together when I want it, or I could meal prep it like individually like I have been doing the last few days, because I've been eating, because for a few days I just ate like the pork and barbecue sauce in like a sandwich, or some days I just did the pork. But the last few days I've been doing these like nachos, and I wanted to show you that because it's really easy to make a whole bunch of this and put it in the fridge and then heat it up as you want it. Okay, so this has reduced quite a bit. You can reduce it more than this if you'd like. I'm going to reduce it a little bit more and let my peppers get a little bit more done. But this is what it's supposed to look like, and I'll show you the finished meal in a minute. Okay, so this is the way I like it, a little bit thicker. And you can do this as fajitas or tacos. This does not have to be nachos. I just chose to do nachos because I have tortillas, but I'm using those for another meal. So I'm going to put this. Okay, so to do this, I just take a plate full of tortilla chips, top it with my pork and taco seasoning mixture, and then I poured the melted cheese over top. You can do whatever toppings you want, and you don't have to use melted cheese. I was trying to clean out my fridge a little bit as well during this meal prep because it was towards the middle of the week, and I like to clean out my fridge towards the middle of the week so leftovers don't get wasted and all that stuff. And like I said, this is not my typical meal prep, and you can do this as fajitas or tacos, and it's probably easier to do fajitas or tacos if you're actually taking this somewhere, since I don't have to go anywhere for my lunch. I just do nachos, and and tortilla chips have been my favorite go-to thing lately. So yeah, and like I said, I had tortillas, but I was using them for another dinner this week, so yeah. But this is my lunch. And this is one of my go-tos when we have leftover pulled pork. I don't know why, but it is. And I will share the pulled pork recipe in a dinners video later this month. But we just took a pork butt that we had in the fridge. Okay, like I was saying, we just took a pork butt that we had in the refrigerator. Well, it was in the freezer. We thawed it out. It took about 4 or 5 days to actually thaw out completely because it was like 7 or 8 pounds. My brother coated it in the Jack Daniel's pork seasoning, put it on his Traeger or his smoker, smoked it for, I think it smoked almost 12 hours. And then we pulled it apart, and you'll see the dinner. And then this is my lunch with the leftover pulled pork a few days later. Okay, so the first snack I'm going to make is Monster energy balls. It's like Monster cookies, but it's like energy ball form. It's 2 cups of oats, 3 tablespoons of honey, 3/4 of a cup of peanut butter, half a cup of mini M&Ms, and 1/4 cup of chocolate chips. I don't have mini chocolate chips. I'm just going to use regular ones, and I'm using semi-sweet. I don't think it really matters. But I'm going to mix all that together, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so the directions and all the ingredients for this will be linked down in the description box. I got this off Pinterest, and I was trying to use this honey up first. That's why, and it's too freaking solid, so I switched to this. And I am going to add one thing. I think it needs more than 3 tablespoons of honey. Mine did not stick together very well at all. Like, I managed to roll one, which you will see in the next clip, but it just, they don't hold together. So yeah, maybe add more honey. I don't know what, but and maybe it's because I did add a little bit more chocolate chip or more mini M&Ms than I should have, but yeah. So, okay, I'm just gonna leave you here watching me mix this stuff together, and then I'll explain in the next clip. Okay, so technically these are supposed to be balls, but just the texture is not working, and I probably could add more honey or more peanut butter or something and make it work. But I'm just gonna press this mixture in to this pan and put it in the refrigerator or whatever. And can you tell I'm having a hard time talking today? And I'm gonna make like bars out of it, and I'm gonna hope that it works. I'm hoping that part of this problem is it is quite humid in here today, because while it is a cool fall day, I've been cooking in here all day pretty much, because I did some garden stuff that you will see in Friday's video as well today. That's why part of the reason this is going out so late, or part of the reason I'm doing this so late, is because I had to get that stuff done first. And if this doesn't work in like bar form, like I'm hoping it will, I'm thinking what might just do is like crumble it up like granola. I'm gonna do it that way, because it is good. Okay, so this next little snack idea is something I got from another YouTuber. It starts with a banana, and And I'm using little liners because she did, and I thought that would be really cute, and it'd be really easy to clean it up. And now I have to clean the pan anyway. But I don't know how many liners I'm going to need. I started with 12. I'm probably going to need more than that. It's really depending on how thick I make the banana. And then you put a pretzel on top of the banana, a little bit of peanut butter, and some melted chocolate. I will, I can't think of her name right now. But I will put her name on the screen. That way you can go watch her video. And this is more like a sweet treat. And technically those Monster Energy bars that I'm doing are a sweet treat as well. But I have 18. Yeah, 18 of these. And typically they make, and I know they make like itty bitty pretzels, but this is what I have, like little square ones. So that's just going to have to work. I'm not going to go buy a specific pretzel for a recipe. I just think that's a waste. And one of the pretzels just flew across the floor and I have no clue where it landed, so that's a waste too. And quality control. Okay. Now, you take a little bit of peanut butter, and put it on top of each pretzel. So this is what they look like with just the banana and the pretzel and the peanut butter. Some of them have more peanut butter than others because I wanted to finish off that jar. And now I'm going to top them with melted chocolate chips that I melted with a little bit of coconut oil. sprinkled hers with flake salt. I don't have flake salt, but I am going to do a little bit of sea salt. This is completely optional. If you don't want to put salt on yours, you don't have to. But I like my sweet and salty, so I'm going to give it a try. Okay, so these are going to go down into the deep freezer. Okay, so my timer went off, and I turned this off. I'm going to set that aside. And I'm going to remove the bag, but it says to, like, squeeze as much excess out of it as you can. Oh, that's hot. Okay, so I've got as much out of that bag as I'm going to get. And now that I've removed the bag, you let this cool off to room temperature. So I'm going to put the lid back on it, but I am going to scoot it over here so it's not on the burner that had the heat on it. And yes, I need to do the dishes. But I'm going to let that cool, and while that cools, I'm going to get this mess cleaned up a little bit. Okay, so when this came out of the fridge, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to be able to cut this into bars. And some of them did cut into bars pretty well, but for most of it, it just crumbled apart. So what I ended up doing was I just crumbled it into the bowl that I was putting the bars in anyway, because I wanted to keep it in the fridge. That way it didn't go bad if I didn't need it immediately, and I didn't want stuff to get melty on the counter. So, I just ended up crumbling it into a bowl. I think if I ever do this recipe again, I am going to try it with more honey and see if it rolls into balls better. But I don't know. If you have any ideas, let me know down in the comments, please, because these are really good and I would like to try them as actual energy balls. It's just the recipe did not work. Okay, so this is what the banana peanut butter pretzel chocolate thing looked like when it came out of the freezer, and I did want to try one on camera, so that's what I'm doing. I set you up and I unwrapped one, and they do hold together quite well. I didn't think they'd hold together as well as they did, and they are really good, especially if you like your sweet and your salt, like I do. And to store them, I just put them in a freezer bag and just place them in my freezer. And now that I'm recording this, I want to go get one. So, yeah, I think I'm going to do that after I record this voiceover. So, yeah. But these will last in my freezer for... It says a week or two, but honestly, they will not last that long. And I ate 2 of them, so I only ended up freezing 16. So, yeah. Okay, so the last thing I had to do to finish off this meal prep video was to finish off my elderberry syrup. After it had cooled completely, I just had to add the honey. And I was going to edit this out, and I went to edit it out, and the film in this clip became corrupted when I was trying to edit it. So, yeah, you're going to have to watch me take the thing off the honey. But it says 12 ounces of honey, and I did not use 12 ounces. I did not measure this. I just dumped about 1/3 of that into my elderberry syrup, whisked it well, and I tasted it, and it was sweet enough for me. And you don't have to add honey to this if you don't want to. I wanted to add a little bit of honey to it, just so it did have a little bit of sweetness, because I take this as a shot every morning. First thing when I wake up, I do a tablespoon shot of elderberry syrup, and then I finish with everything else. And after I whisked the honey into it, I just dumped it into a mason jar that we had left. And yes, it is
a moonshine mason jar. So, yeah, that's just what we had available that had a lid. So I just dumped the elderberry syrup in that jar, and then the elderberry syrup goes in the refrigerator.
Okay, so I set up to edit this meal prep and realized I forgot to do an outro, so that's going to be it for this meal prep. It was more of a snacky meal prep, like I said, because we do have so much left over. If you want more like snack prep videos, let me know. Of course, I'm always looking for meal prep ideas, like lunch and dinner meal preps, or specifically lunches, because a lot of the times that's my biggest problem. So if you have any lunch prep ideas, let me know down below. Other than that, thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.